Welcome back to the fundamentals. This show, we're going to recap what happened in the 2021 season.
2020 season.
Mm-hmm. We'll get there.
The 2021.
There you go.
It's
the 2020 first.
It goes into both. This is the 21 to 22 season.
No, that's next season.
Yeah, so I'm talking about this last season, which is the 2021.
You just said 21 season.
Yeah.
I said the 2020.
No, you
21.
did not.
You
No.
said 2021.
You said 2021 season.
We're going to recap the last season that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Totally lost all my train of thought now.
Were you going somewhere?
Yeah, I was trying to do an opener.
Oh, you botched that, didn't you?
I didn't bosh shit.
Oh, you blew it up.
Yeah, it was terrible. Everybody's talking about it.
We're going to talk a little bit about what we saw, some surprises, some disappointments right after this.
We'll find out.
All right, Joe, why don't you start it off with some surprises and disappointments?
All right. Why don't we start off with the player surprises? Let's start off with Kyler Murray.
That's not a surprise.
He's
Monster.
He's much more of a surprise than what anybody gave him credit for. They was expecting top 15. They were not expecting top 5.
He was much better than you gave him credit for. He directly called you out.
Not just him.
I had him top 10.
Even the pros, the people who's supposed to know what they're talking about, said the same thing about Murray.
That's fucking us, Joe.
Yeah, dude.
No. There's the pros, then there's all-star. We are all-star.
Oh, so we don't even... They're so far beneath us, we
They're
don't even
beneath
watch
us.
them.
Oh.
I don't even know where they ranked them because I don't care about mainstream media in general.
You're wrong a lot.
I had Kyler Murray in the top 10.
Yeah, nobody else did.
He did.
Yeah, I did.
No, I'm sorry. When I say nobody else did.
All right.
I didn't.
So let's define this.
All right.
Is it a surprise to us or other people? Because this is...
Did you expect him to finish third?
Top 10?
I didn't expect to finish third, but
Are we talking
there's a
third
possibility.
in
Fantasy points altogether.
points?
He was third ranked of all players.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
It is. It is.
Not surprising.
All right. I also have Josh Allen, who ranked first on all fantasy points by the end of the season.
Yeah, I like Josh Allen. I had him top 10. I didn't really have him too high. I had him at 9, but yeah.
Okay, that's a surprise.
Huh.
I thought he was a terrible quarterback.
Yeah,
I didn't see any potential. He proved me wrong. Dude,
Now, I never saw he was a horrible quarterback, but
I did. I had him. I think I had him ranked like
Thought that was
23rd.
ridiculous. Yeah, it was
I honestly don't even
17th.
remember. 17th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ranked him 17th. He proved me wrong, dude. He looked good.
Really good.
He looked good all year, and he looked like he knew what he was doing.
yeah, he really pulled the Bills out, and he did an amazing job. He's gonna have a huge future.
Yeah, the stride that he made between I saw evaluated him as somebody who didn't look downfield, didn't read coverage, and just kind of wung it. Just sloppy form, just kind of like, I hope you catch it. And he turned into somebody who kept his eyes downfield, and he knew what he was doing with the ball, whether he was under duress or not. Like, he looked like a 10-year veteran.
Yeah, he looked good.
Just overnight. So whatever he did worked.
Well, he got an elite receiver.
Yeah, but one elite receiver is not going to change that much.
It helps when you've never had one.
Yeah, but it's not like he's been elite
I'm not saying it's the
forever.
only thing, because he did take a step forward.
He took a lot to fix himself, more than Diggs helped emphasize that. So yeah, that's a surprise to me.
Yeah. Keep going with that. Let's keep with the quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins. He wound up finishing 11th in fantasy with under quarterbacks this year. Before that, he was 18th. I don't think anybody expected him to play as good as he has. He's still not an elite quarterback. I just think he had a surprising year.
Yeah.
And having Jefferson there helped him out a lot.
I
Yes.
thought
That was huge.
Yeah, that's more surprising to me. Is
Yeah,
just
especially with Thielen. He's in and out, but he had a pretty decent year.
yeah. He just has a lot of weapons around him all the way around. I knew he'd be decent. It's a little higher than I thought he'd be, but I mean,
Yeah, I figured he'd be between 15th and 20th. I thought 11th. That's excellent. I mean, that's higher than a lot of quarterbacks.
okay.
And I got Derek Carr coming in on this one, finishing 13th among receivers, and he's only got one. He's got Ruggs. That's it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call that a one.
Right.
Yeah.
And still was able to finish 13th. John Gruden is really helping him along. He likes that system that Gruden's got going on over there.
Yeah, I don't know what I ranked Derek Carr, but
You have him 20.
I had him 20.
Lower than all of us. I have 16, Joe 15.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess if you want to call that a surprise, like, oh,
Think he's a number one next year?
no.
No?
Honestly,
It depends on where the Raiders go with the draft. They got to add more weapons to it.
Honestly,
Not
the
for him
amount
to be
of
up
money
there.
they're paying him, they should just move on. I don't think they will. I think he'll progress. I think he'll be better. Maybe he's 12th. You're losing a lot of top end, which is moving everybody up. You know, Breeze is already gone. How much longer do you think Tom Brady's around?
At least one more year.
One more year tops.
Okay, well, I'm just saying there's people leaving.
Yeah.
How long does Matt Ryan have? How long does... So once those people start leaving, it's naturally going to make him better. Just because there's less people. So I think, yeah, he's probably 12th next year.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, because Rivers and Breeze are both gone, so that bumps him up 2 spots, maybe.
Well, Breeze
Maybe.
finished lower than him, so it doesn't even really bump him up.
Yeah, but Breeze missed a lot of games because of injury.
That's why I said one spot would be 12th.
He's already there, though.
And the 5th guy on my list, we went running back, James Robinson in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I think kind of stunned the world.
the-
Finished 7th in running
The
back.
earliest person was AA. Double
he
A
jumped on
was
it.
the first person, I mean, of anybody
The week before
who mentioned him.
the season even started.
Yeah. Nobody said his name. I didn't pay attention to him. I heard about this guy from AA.
Yeah, because then they all thought the rookie was going to start, and then he got
Yeah,
injured.
he was
was
supposed
like-
to be
taken out.
Raquel, and then he got
Yeah.
COVID.
He was like 4th on the depth chart.
yeah, he was buried on there.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they got rid of Fournette, and there's just...
Yeah, they had
Open
Fournette.
season.
Yeah,
They
they
had
had Fournette,
Raquel.
yeah.
They had... Yeah, like, nobody expected this guy to actually break through that.
It was just a high upside pick that actually hit. Oh.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for some of the disappointments now?
Oh, every day is a disappointment with you, Joe.
Let's start with good old Cam Newton.
Honestly, that's not a disappointment to me.
He was what you thought he was?
I think he did better.
Yeah, he did better than what I thought.
I think he did better than what I thought.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought underneath Belichick, man, he would have done something better. He would.
I think
think
that's
he's
solid.
done.
It's hard to be top 15. Like, he's 15th. He's better
Yeah.
than half the league. He's on any other team, he's like 30th.
Yeah, but he's
Yeah,
15th
but a lot
to running the ball.
Yeah, a lot of that's moving with his legs. You can't really. I don't count that. It's supposed to be a quarterback. Next, we have Michael Thomas. I don't know what happened to him this year. He disappeared. He had a few injuries, but
He
that's not an
missed,
excuse.
like half the year, I thought.
Yeah.
That's still not an excuse. He
Well,
went up 85th among receivers.
he-
85th.
He got in fights with everybody. Got a fight with the coaching staff. Got
Oh,
a
yeah,
fight
in the locker room.
And
Yeah.
even when he came back, he was with the backup.
Yeah, like he was put in the doghouse and he had a temper tantrum. He had an OBJ.
He basically
Which
missed
now wonders what's
the
going to happen
whole
with
year.
him next year now because
He'll be there.
Hill wasn't throwing to him, but is he going to be productive enough?
Well, if Jameis stays, I'll be happy with it because he'll sling it around.
I say that I no longer believe in Michael Thomas and I traded him in all my leagues. What week was that? Was that 9 or 10? It's like week 9.
I don't remember when it was. My
But
dumbass gave you 2 first-round picks for him.
yeah, I don't believe in him. I think if he goes to another
I believe in
team,
him.
I think if he goes to another team, that's his best scenario.
I don't think it matters. I think he's a top 12 receiver either way.
Yeah, so do I. I just
that's
don't
fine.
think he was the number one by 180 yards.
No, but
ever
he
again.
can still be a number one.
He could. I mean, if Winston.
Number one overall, he'll never
Absolutely.
be
He
a
can
number
be.
one overall
He
receiver
absolutely
again in the
can
rest
be.
of his career. They're-
Let's call him top 5.
All
I can see
these-
him being top 5 again.
All these people are talented. You got to have drive. dedication, and I don't think he has that anymore.
I think
now he turned into an arrogant person that doesn't have to work out as hard, that doesn't have to practice as hard, and I think he'll be solid, but he'll never be that elite again with some kid who's got a chip on his shoulder who's working twice as hard. I think he could be top 3, top 5, top 10 consistently. I don't think he'll ever be the Michael Thomas that he was just 375 days ago. That's all I'm saying. He peaked. I think he's still solid. I think he's still good.
All right, let's move on to the next guy in line, Ezekiel Elliott.
He quit on his team. I lost respect for Ezekiel Elliott.
It seemed that way. I mean, he got a little better the last
I want to hear
5, 6 games. But those first 10 games, fumbled all the time, didn't get no yardage. Pollard looked better than he did.
Well, Pollard has a chip on his shoulder working his ass off.
Yeah.
He got the little Michael Thomas in him where
It's
he's
to the point.
arrogant.
One, as a Cowboys fan, I like Zeke. Has followed him through his career through Ohio State, blah, blah, blah. But you do not pay the running backs that kind of money.
So
They don't have too good of a lifespan. Why give him 8 years, 90+ million freaking dollars?
let's sidetrack here.
When you got Pollard back there who can freaking do the same thing.
Let's diverge. Do you keep Dak? Do you drop the money from Zeke
From what I saw from Dalton, yeah, I'd rather have Dak.
for $40 million a year?
If you drop Zeke, do you get a running back? Or do you keep Pollard and then you don't really worry
You
about
keep
it?
Pollard right now. Don't even worry about it.
Well, if you don't do
Pollard
that, you
gets the job
think
done.
Gore comes there?
Who? I'm sorry, who?
Gore?
Is he still going to play next year?
He has announced retirement.
He's got to retire
think
eventually.
Let's talk about
That might be
relevant
his-
things.
that's
Let's
relevant.
talk about relevant things.
But yeah,
On
I
that.
I want your opinion. Do they pay $40 million to Dak? And
Yeah, absolutely.
So Dak is a $40 million quarterback?
Yeah. That's what I think they should have paid him before he got injured.
because he doesn't quit on the team. It didn't matter how bad Dallas was down. He
He
played.
might lose a year because of the injury, but I think he's
I
still
was
worth
curious because I've never believed in Dak, and I said he shouldn't have that money, and they're overpaying, and this and that and the other. But he played well. Like, he played well.
it. He kind of
And
made that team good.
if you look at the whole league and the quarterback situation, I think at this stage, there's not as many people better than him. Especially when, Breeze is gone, Rivers is gone, Brady's going to be gone. Like, he could be a top 8, top 5 quarterback.
And I think Prescott's proven too. He don't have to win with just his legs. He can throw the ball.
yeah, but that's the thing. He can run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
I mean, he can,
Yeah.
which was a bonus.
I just wanted your opinion on it because I think you pay Darnold or Dalton. What the
Oh,
fuck's
that's a
his
trade.
name?
Prescott.
Prescott. I was reading this.
And honestly, who's got the money that could afford Zeke right now to trade to? The Jets.
They're not going to take a running back.
They could trade him to the Jets.
I don't think you.
You won't get a first round for him, but
I don't think you can trade Zeke with that contract.
that contract
Yeah.
hurts. That hurts.
That's-
A lot of teams look at that like, I don't know.
He's got, 6 years left?
Yeah, 6,
Yeah.
7 freaking
Yeah,
years.
he needs 2 more years. But
They
I
got him
think
for the whole career, but
I think you have to pay. You have to pay him, Dak Prescott.
yeah.
I
got to.
flipped 180 degrees. Even though he got hurt and he only played a little bit of the season, I saw enough to where it's like, yeah, they're kind of in a situation where they need a guy like him, and he's like him, so keep him.
Yeah.
Because I thought, Dalton can come in and take care of the same job because the freaking offense was so loaded.
Yeah, I was under the same
Yeah.
consensus.
Egg on our face because Dalton.
Well, Dalton's
Not that he blows.
career being a
he's not
starting quarterback ended a while back, like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But we might as well skip the next one because that's silly.
Yeah.
That's a disappointment.
That is not a disappointment.
Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley being 29th, in my opinion, is a surprise.
Yeah.
I jumped off Todd Gurley bandwagon before he ever became a Falcon.
I had him higher than that, though.
I didn't have him. Well,
I thought for certain once he got to Atlanta, he'd be back to at least a top 15, top 20 running back. At worst. He's not going to be a top 10 ever again. But
I wouldn't say that's a disappointment because that's about what it should have been.
I don't know, 29th for...
I think that's good.
For him, that is low.
That's low for him.
I don't think he can...
He was the lead back of an elite offense.
He's got 4 knee injuries.
Still, he should have been able to get top 20.
I don't think he can ever get there again.
Not the way he looked this year.
Yeah.
He needs... Yeah.
He's looked worse every single year.
And last on that list is, how about James Conner?
I think that's a disappointment.
Yeah, because this guy had all kinds... He was a top 20 running back, top 15.
He just can't be on the field.
Yeah, he can't stay
healthy. If he could stay on the field and be healthy, he's a good back. But he's...
It just seems like the Steelers could not get a running game at all this year.
I think he's just always...
with him or Snell, it didn't matter.
Terrible, yeah.
All right, well, those are my top 5 surprise players and disappointing players.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely got the next one.
The top 5 surprise teams?
Yeah, I called this week 8, and they disappointed me.
The Miami Dolphins.
I said they were making the playoffs. Week 8. Yes, I did. Go back to the video.
No, I'm saying they didn't.
Oh, I know they didn't. That's why I like their disappointment, not a surprise.
But there was
me.
Yeah, but I'm talking about if you look at preseason, before the season started, nobody would have thought the Dolphins were going to go 10-6 and have a shot at the playoffs.
I don't know, dude.
I have them winning double-digit games.
Go back to week 3 on our videos. I still talked highly of the Dolphins. I said it would take a long time, so maybe this year was too soon. But they've done everything by the book the right way for a couple years now, 2 years in a row.
I know they had a plan when they wanted to bring Tua in by their bye week, blah, blah, blah. But man, when Fitzpatrick was playing as well as he was, it had to be hard to make that move, even with Tua.
Yeah. And since everybody forgets, I might as well just throw it out here right now.
Oh, this ought to be good.
Yeah.
I think the Dolphins win the division next year.
I don't know about that yet.
I think they do.
No.
Over the Bills.
I know. I get 8 months of you're stupid and crazy, and then 8 months later it's like, oh yeah, everybody knew the Dolphins were going to win the division. You did not say anything new. So that's all right. Make fun of me for 8 months, and then we'll come back to this video, and everyone will be like, oh, that was in the past.
Oh no, we're going to come back to that.
We're going to make fun of it anymore.
Oh yeah, that's what everybody says, and they never do because they can't make fun of it because I'm right.
You should just forget.
He probably will too.
I already bet it through Vegas. But we can move on.
Next, we have the Cleveland Browns. 11-5. They went 1-1 in the playoffs.
They kind of started to figure it out.
It seems like they're whoever they got for coach, he's
Stefanski
finally got him going.
That's a surprise to me.
That is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't believe they did that well.
I mean, preseason I would give him maybe 8-8.
They have the roster to do that and better. They just were never able to put it together.
Everybody had them so high preseason that I knew that they just weren't going to do good just because they're the Browns.
See what happens.
And they started so slow that I just wrote them off and said, I was right. Well, I ended up being wrong about this one because they end up being 11-5. And I thought they were a 500 team.
They beat their big brother in the playoffs too.
You know, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, they're like the favorite to win the division," and they do have the roster.
They'll win the division next year.
I think they very well can.
Yeah, they got the talent too.
Well, things are changing in Cleveland.
Huh? They're actually a team we're talking about actually watching the games. All right, next in line, I got the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah,
it surprised me how good they wound up. They wound up 7-9 after starting Tyrod Taylor. But once Herbert came in there, that young man kind of turned the team around a little bit.
Did Tyrod even play a game?
I think he played.
He played the first couple games.
I think he played the first one.
I don't even think
that's when he got hurt.
He played week 1.
He did
against Kansas City.
He played 1 or 2 games, and he got hurt, and then that's when they brought in Herbert, and Herbert had the job ever since.
I'm pretty sure it was week 1.
Maybe.
But I went back and I watched a lot of our early videos. And in the Chargers, I said that the Chargers were a playoff caliber talent with no quarterback. And then they got Herbert, he's a solid quarterback.
Yeah.
He
He seems to fit their system pretty good.
They're 7-9, so I don't know. From according to what I said, they probably should have did better, but I think they had a good season because they found a lot of stuff out that they didn't know.
Yeah, I think that was a good season.
It was a good season in the long run.
Yep. Next, I got the Washington football team.
Washington football team.
With everything they went through, starting off with Haskins, getting rid of Haskins, Smith in and out from his injuries. They still went up 7-9, winning the division.
It was a ballsy move to just cut Haskins like that. I respect that.
That was.
He just said, "Screw you, bye bye."
Yeah. They got a good defense.
Yeah.
They got a good running back. They got a good wide receiver. Yeah. They need an offensive line and a quarterback. That's it, and they're a 10-11 win team. They're right there.
Yeah, if Alex Smith can stay healthy for a full year, he can do it.
I don't know if Alex Smith is the answer.
No, not with his health, but if that wasn't there, I think he could.
So
I think they need Alex Smith because if they decide to draft a quarterback, whether it's in the first round or second round, to get a guy, they need Smith there to help him along.
Yeah, I just don't think he's the starter, or he should be.
Yeah,
they need to find. They need to.
They're better with him than without him, though. Right now.
Yeah, right now. Yeah. I agree with that. There's some free agents, and this is going to be a crazy free agent season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be fun.
There's a lot of teams that just don't have money. There's a lot of teams with a lot of free agents, and people are going to be moving around. It's going to be a little bit crazy.
Couple teams with 2 new head coaches that have plenty of cap room with the Jets and Jaguars. I love it. I can't wait to see the moves those 2 teams are going to make.
Yeah.
And last on my list, I got the Chicago Bears, 8-8 and squeezing into the playoffs. I got them on there as a surprise team because their quarterback carousel that happened there. The amount of talent they have on that team. Montgomery had a slow start.
Yeah, he really turned it on off
their defense seemed to be up and down. For them to still go 8-8 with everything that went on in that town.
They need a quarterback.
Yeah, I think they're a playoff team. It's just the quarterback play.
Yeah. I've been saying that for 5 years. I don't think they're going to change. I think next year
they're going to change next year. They're not keeping them.
If they keep these quarterbacks, they're an 8-8 team.
No, they're not keeping them.
No, I see them shopping in a room.
The aggressive move to go get Khalil Mack is the type of move they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
To just go get somebody. Anybody that's remotely available, they should be trying to shop because their roster is a win now roster.
Yeah.
And
the most important part is literally a D-.
Yeah. That's sad. Yeah, and they won't win any playoff games and barely make playoffs as long as Trubisky's behind center.
Yeah, I agree. They're not going to go far.
All right, top 5 disappointing teams of the 2020 season. We'll start off with the New England Patriots.
All right. I mean, yeah, but I kind of expected this. I was hoping to make the playoffs, but I was prepared not to.
I think they brought in Cam Newton to keep going with Belichick. And
I couldn't see Cam doing it. I thought he was done before, and after seeing this season, he's done.
I didn't think the Patriots were going to be any good this year. I actually thought they would be really bad. I just couldn't say it.
They'd be a wild card team.
I couldn't say
they'd
it.
Be close, and they were.
I couldn't say it because the management and that team has always been good.
Yeah.
So them falling 7-9, I get, because honestly, anybody else who's in charge of that team, they'd be a 2-win team. If the Jets were in charge of that roster, they'd be 0-16.
Yeah, we'd be in Lawrence.
So
I'd be cool with that.
7-9 is a disappointment for the Patriot franchise, but with what they worked with, that's a stellar year, in my opinion. They got the most out of their players.
I'm not really upset about it. I mean, saw it coming. It was going to happen sooner or later. But I am excited for next season because we have, I believe, it's the second most cap room. So we can make some moves next year.
It'd be interesting what Belichick tries to do with that team.
Yeah. We just need to find a quarterback. As soon as we get that, we'll get our defensive players back from COVID, and that'll be huge for our defense, which already plays good.
Yeah, the only thing about that is they're not a team that signs a lot of free agents, and they have some high-dollar free agents of their own to sign.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to sign all of them, though.
Well, you're going to sign
a couple.
Thuney?
we'll probably sign Dooney. Yeah,
Dooney's gonna make the most money
yeah, but
any
that's just
guard in
one
the
guy.
NFL.
Yeah, but we still have plenty
saying.
more cap.
I'm just saying you got some guys.
The next team on my disappointment list is the Minnesota Vikings, finishing at 7-9.
Yeah.
I mean, Kirk Cousins ends up a top 15 freaking quarterback. You got Jefferson and Thielen out there, Dub and Cook.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything with all this talent?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was reading ahead, and I love it.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
No, yeah, I agree. Minnesota Vikings, honestly, they probably should have won that division. Like, they had the talent for it.
I don't know about win that division.
Or at least come close. They should have gave the Packers a run.
They should have gave them a run.
They should have
for
beat
their
the Bears in the race for the playoff.
Yeah, the Vikings could have easily gone 10-6 this season with that schedule.
Oh, yeah.
And
I think they could have got to 11 wins.
They should have.
That's what I mean. Like, that's disappointing because they have the roster. They have everything in place.
They don't have defense.
I think that's more of a product of their offense fluttering. Because their defense was on the field so often, their stat line looked bad, but they never really were terrible.
The secondary was. I don't know about up front, but the secondary was bad.
I don't think they were.
I think they were.
I don't think they were at all.
I don't think they was that bad.
They were just on the field so much that if someone throws the ball 100 times against your defense, they're going to get more yards than if someone throws the ball 20 times against your defense.
Maybe.
That, and you're out there that long, you just get worn out.
I don't know.
You get tired.
Plays they played
I
up
think
against,
if they had the
maybe.
I think if they had the exact same roster and their offense could stay on the field, they could be a top 15 defense.
Maybe.
But.
All right, next on the list, we have the Houston Texans winding up 4-12. You cannot tell me just losing Hopkins damaged the team that much.
Yeah, there
one
was
player.
It did.
It was the head coach, and everybody wanted him out.
Yeah, that dude was a freaking.
Once he left, everybody was like, "Well, now what?" Because you lost Hopkins, you broke a lot of hearts, and now your coach is gone. You finally got him gone, but you already lost your guy this season. You had to endure a 4-12 season.
And now it looks like they might be losing Watson.
And Watson said he's not going to play for the Texans again.
Complete loss for the Texans.
So they have to make a trade.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. They dropped the ball in so many different ways, that team. Just the whole franchise just blew it up. They had such a promising team. And J.J. Watt's already admitted he does not want to go through a team through a rebuild.
Oh, yeah. And
so he's not going to want to stay there. So now they could lose Watt here in the next year or two.
Yeah, Watt hasn't been super productive consistently. He's got a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
He's going to have to take a...
But there's still going to be a team out there that would jump on a chance to get him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he would go for a Super Bowl run.
Oh, yeah, I can see him going for a team that's got a chance.
And that's what makes dynasties. That's what makes the Patriots dynasty. And that's what's going to make the Kansas City dynasty, is all these teams and all these players are just like, hey, I'll play for you for free.
Yeah.
And it's kind of ruined the NFL in my view. Because this is happening more and more now. And you're just building these super teams where everybody's like, hey, I'll take a year and make no money to win a Super Bowl so that I can make twice as much money the following year.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I gave the NFL credit. At least they're not ending up like baseball and basketball.
Yeah, basketball.
I mean, you can't sit there and say like, oh, yeah, well, they've got all these players. That means they're pretty much in. And everybody else don't even know why they're playing. That's the way it is. If you listen to basketball or baseball, like the Yankees can freaking sit there and just buy a team and go to playoffs every year.
I mean, yeah, baseball, you can just put up 3 times as much money and just buy your team. In basketball, it's just you buy a player. If you have one player, it significantly helps your team. If you get 2 or 3 of those, you're an elite team.
That's what I'm saying. In basketball, it's like, oh, yeah, you talk about the big 3 on this team and big 3 on this team. Well, those must be the 2 teams going to the championship. The hell with everybody else.
Yeah,
and it usually works out that way because that's why teams do it. At least the NFL is trying to keep a nice balanced slate.
Yeah, and it kind of is.
Trying.
Some teams are...
A lot of it was that salary cap. I mean, let's be honest. If they didn't have a salary cap, owners like Jerry Jones would just go out and pay players buku bucks just to bring them in to win championships.
Yeah.
And the rest of the smaller franchises wouldn't have a chance.
And that's why it's kind of silly that they have like the whole lottery for the draft and shit. But
Yeah.
let's stick to
let's stick to what we got.
let's stick to football.
All right, next on the line, the Dallas Cowboys.
They're always disappointing.
I think
Not-
it's average.
When's the last time they weren't disappointing?
They shouldn't have been disappointing this year.
But
They
were.
shouldn't have been.
At least they had a reason.
Now, Dak's first year, he goes 13-3. They go to the playoffs. Dallas looks promising.
Hey Joe,
Now they started adding pieces.
Am I Joe?
when's the last time the Cowboys won a playoff game?
I don't think that's the relevance of this argument
I'm
right
just
now.
saying, that's how often they've been disappointing. Because they should have won half of those. So they've disappointed for a long time. This is coming from a Jets fan. At least we know
But going
we
into
suck.
this year, the Cowboys were one of the favorites to go to the Super Bowl.
Do you know who's not on this list as disappointing?
Mm-hmm.
The Jets. Do you know why? No,
This morning, when was the last time Jets were relevant?
that's my point. At least we know we suck. We have no expectations. But every year, Cowboy fans are like, we're awesome. And then you don't win a playoff game. That's brutal. I'm a Jets fan. I'm saying it's got to
I'd
be
rather have
brutal.
a team that goes into
Be
the
a
season
Cowboys
thinking they can win the Super Bowl, other than a team going into the season thinking we're going to win a game. I'm sorry, they won 2.
I said that they'd win too. But I just want to make fun of you.
I know. And the last on the list, even though they went 12-4, is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I
That's a
have
huge
never
disappointment.
seen a team go up in flames that quickly.
They were the worst 12-4 team ever.
They crashed.
Even when they went 11-0, they were shaky on those wins.
Oh, yeah. It was
They could have
close.
lost to a Dallas
Yeah.
team that had Andy Dalton in the
Think about what you
backfield.
just said. They went 11-0, and then they ended the season 1-5, and it's over.
Yep.
One.
Well, 1-4. They
1-5.
lost the playoff.
Oh, yeah,
They lost the playoff game.
Yeah.
That's undefeated and then just completely defeated.
Just like flushed it.
Yeah,
mean, it was- and even level-headed Steeler fans, you have to admit, when they went on that 11-0 streak, the wins were shaky. They looked bad. They had no run game. Big Ben was throwing his arm out, trying to keep themselves in those games.
I tried to have faith in that team all the way to the end because I'm like, you know what? They'll turn it on now. They'll turn it on now.
Oh yeah, somebody picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
Hey,
How are your Super Bowl teams lined up right now?
hey, I just want to
had
point
the
out.
Chiefs, Packers,
I just
so
want to point
I'm
out
pretty sure I have both the
that
conference.
since
too.
we
I'll say
weren't
I got
ranking
Bills,
them and
Packers.
keeping score, I wanted to have a fun
What are we talking about now?
the playoff bracket we did.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to keep it a little different instead of all of us be like, oh yeah, Packers Chiefs.
I got Packers Bills.
Who did
I
you
know.
have? You
I had the I don't remember. I
He had
did, I did the
Steelers
opposite of
and
what
the
you guys
Saints.
did.
Steelers,
Yeah,
Steelers and
Saints.
Saints. Yeah.
It's gonna be Chiefs Packers probably.
That's what it's
I
gonna
hope
be.
not. I really want the Bills to make it. I hate the Bills, but they deserve it.
Forget
The bad
Bills,
part
the
is-
Chiefs.
They deserve
The
it.
Bills go to the Super Bowl again and lose for a 5th time.
Probably. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl against those teams.
Ugh, that'd be brutal. But those are my surprises and disappointings for 2020.